Alright, what's up guys? Decided to change our scenery today and bring us outside. It is beautiful and green out here. It's May 22nd today, 2019. So we're going to do a little bit of a different video today. I've had some real bad stress the last year. Gone, but not permanently gone, not yet at least. And that is financial stress. So first of all, I want to mention, if you are somebody who's overweight or have been overweight and you felt insecure about that, you have not enjoyed that, I know what it's like to be there. And that weight loss series, by the way, is coming on this channel. I'm hoping to do that by Christmas at the latest. To do a big weight loss series. I don't know how many parts it might be. It might end up being 5, 6, 7 parts because that's a big topic. It's going to be our best series yet once it comes. But another side of the coin that I've been on is financial stress, being in debt. And I've always been a pretty good saver, even as a kid. But life happens. So I do want to mention some tips of how we paid off $10,000 worth of credit card debt. Gone in 53 days. Started this year, past year, 2019. It was February 28th, 2 weeks after Valentine's. Sarah and I went on a date to a vegan restaurant. It's called Munch. It's in Oak Park, Illinois. It was a really good restaurant. And so we went back there again 2 weeks later. You know, we used some cash. We bought dinner. You know, it was only our third time going out to eat since Hadassah's been born. In nearly a year, it was our third time going out to eat. You know, so we never consider ourselves big spenders. I thought to myself, there's nothing I can do to save money. I don't go see movies. I don't go to theme parks. I don't buy all these DVDs and games. I'm not a big car person. We don't do any extra expenses for entertainment. I'm not going to water parks and all this stuff. How could I possibly save more than I'm already saving right now? That's what I thought to myself. So as time went on, I just kind of ignored our money situation because it stressed me out. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't know what to do. The only thing I could think of was to get my income up, which is somewhat still true of now. So February 28th, we went out to eat. We had a good time at a nice vegan restaurant. And we went to the grocery store that day. The next day, you know, my car's getting kind of low on gas, so I would go get some. The credit cards decline. I'm like, what is this? So I go to another place. I try to pick up some snacks from Whole Foods, the grocery store. Declined again. I said, what on earth is wrong? Did we get hacked or something? So eventually we ended up calling the credit card company, and we were $10,000 in debt. I had no clue that we were that much in debt. I knew we had debt, and I knew tax season was coming, and I knew we were going to get a tax return. We were meeting with an HR guy. He was saying we were going to get about $5,000 back. I was like, yes, that debt's going to get paid off. But when I called, they said, well, you have $8,000 limit on the credit card. You can't go higher than that. You currently have $10,000 unpaid dollars on your credit card. It's like, okay, thank you, sir, bye. And then I just remember that feeling, just having this terrible feeling. How on earth are we gonna pay $10,000 off? And I just felt moody, felt depressed. I didn't know what to do. When I went in college, I had this book called The Total Money Makeover. It was a side book. It wasn't required for the class, but it was a recommended book, and I did end up getting it. And I ended up picking that book up. So again, I do want to mention, I didn't think I could save any more money, but when we dug a little deeper, there were actually areas we could save. For example, $10,000 isn't that much money in debt when you've only made $32,000 for the year. So I want to put that in perspective. The town we live in, Lamont, Illinois, the average household income makes $90,000 in the town we live in. All right, so what I made in 3 years is what the person in this town makes in a year. The town where I work in, Elmhurst, Illinois, the average income household is $94,000 a year. It's a really nice town. There's a lot of nice homes. Not surprising because the average household is $94,000. So, you know, the average household income for the United States of America is 50,000. Now 30,000 I realize is like the top 1% of the entire world. You got to realize if you're watching this, because I know YouTube is worldwide, if you're watching this from another country, $30,000 in the US, that is poverty. The cost of living is higher. So if everybody made $1 million a year, $1 million wouldn't be that much. It would be like making 50,000 a year. But the thing is, not that many people make not that many people make $1 million, so $1 million is a lot. So even though, yes, we are in the top 2% of the world, $30,000, $32,000, which I made in the year 2018, is not very much money. And that happened because Sarah quit working because the baby was born. We did not know she was coming. We didn't find out till March. The baby was born in June. So that really threw us for a loop. Most of you should know that I'm a personal trainer. That is a very hard job to get 40 hours. Currently this week I have 35 hours, which is 70 people coming in to train with me. That's 40 hours as a trainer, at least at my gym. You have to train 80 people to have 40 hours. You have to have 80 appointments in a week. So that's tough. That's very rare that I get, but I still get more than the other 3 trainers at my gym combined. I'm getting about 32 to 35 hours a week roughly right now. So it was kind of a rough year. We had renters renting from our house for the first 6 months. They still owe us rent. We kicked them out over a year ago. We have a new renter, but then there was some maintenance, there was some repairs we had to put on the house. So we've only been making money off of her for about 6 months. She more than pays the mortgage. So that kind of messed us over. We had to do some painting and stuff through the agent. Plus the agency we go through takes 8% of the profit every month, which we're ditching them next month in the month of June. So, you know, 32,000, that's not a lot of money. That's poverty. I remember when I came in and got my taxes done, he showed me a little chart and we were at the very, very bottom. To put that in perspective, if a person makes $15 an hour, you will make $30,000 in a year, assuming you work 40 hours a week for 50 to 52 weeks of the year. There's 52 weeks in a year. If you make that $15 an hour, you will make $30,000. Now this is for an entire household. I mean, even if 2 people in a house make minimum wage, minimum wage in this state is $8.25, you will make exactly what I made in a year. If you have 2 people in a household making minimum wage, working 40 hours a week. So just putting that in perspective, this is one of the reasons we ended up in debt. Our income was just too low and we didn't even budget. I read this book, The Total Money Makeover, and I could not put it down. It's by a guy named Dave Ramsey. He's on YouTube. I listened to every single, I have the bell turned on for his YouTube channel. I listened to every single video of his. I don't really watch the live videos because those are an hour and a half long. I don't have time to listen or watch an hour and a half video. I usually listen to it because I go back and forth to work training. Now my job is about 35 to 45 minutes away. I actually have to go back in a little bit to work. So that alone, gas is costing me $200 to $300 a month. It's costing me. It's not cheap at all. And I do want to mention too that the $10,000 we got in debt, we have $3,000. I made a commitment to myself. I'm going to give 10% of my income away. That's just the commitment I made to myself, no matter how rich or poor I am. So we gave about $3,200 to an organization in charity last year. And then the gas probably ended up being $2,000 to $3,000 a year. So just between all that and then interest on the credit card, that alone was probably enough to break us. Because you figure when you're at $10,000 a credit card, you're being charged 20% interest every single month. I read his book, and at first reading it, I was discouraged because you came across all these people. He put all these stories in there of people that had become debt-free and people that became millionaires that had nothing. It's like, I just can't picture this being me. I only made $30,000. How am I gonna ever become a millionaire? I don't care what anybody says. In the United States of America, you will not become a millionaire on $30,000, okay? You could do it on 60, 70, 80, 90,000, 100,000. You could definitely become a millionaire there, especially if you start putting away part of your check every month and investing. And I'm gonna get to that. So I read the book, but I couldn't put it down. I read it in 3 days. That is very unlike me. Just not putting a book down and reading through it super fast. I got addicted to it. I ended up putting in a budget, keeping track of everything I'm spending on the computer, writing it all down. I mean, we were paying $20 a week in water. That was $80 a month. So we bought a water filter with our Amazon points. Now we're no longer paying $80 to that. I shut down Sarah's phone service. So we no longer have to do that because she's home with the baby all day. She can still text or call me though because she has an iPhone and I have an iPhone. So we just found little ways like that to save money. We used that credit card to our advantage. Then I started, we recently made that video of our budget. And that was a very recent video, how we spent $150 in a week. We're still doing that every week. And if I get something on Amazon, such as tahini or salt or black pepper, we add that to our budget. So our grocery bill gets even, we have to buy even less and less from the store. So I'm adding that. I'm trying to stay really intense with this. And a little more back information I want to give on this credit card is, I was scared when that thing shut off because we had no money. How am I going to buy groceries for the next week? I think I ended up fasting for 5 days, just to save some more money. And my gas is really low in the car. How am I going to pay that? I don't get paid for another week or two. So what we ended up doing is we took the baby's fund. She has $200 because, we had baby showers last year. People gave money for that. So we used that $200. I ended up putting gas so I can make it back and forth to work. And by the way, I'm going to pay the baby back this weekend. I did some work for my brother-in-law. I did some photography work for 5 hours. He's given me $200. I'm going to get paid this weekend. So I'm going to put that back in the baby fund, which that'll already be there now because this is YouTube time. This video isn't being uploaded right now as I'm talking. This video already been uploaded by the time I paid the baby back. I had to do that, and that's kind of embarrassing, just taken out of the baby fund. But she's gonna get that back. Hadassah for giving us that money, but we're gonna give it right back to her this coming weekend. So I was scared. I was stressed out. I'm the one who has to provide for our family. Sarah and Hadassah are home all day, but we managed to pay it off. One big thing that has helped me now is I became a master trainer at my gym, which means I make more money. So I made $15 an hour, getting 30 to 35 hours a week for a long time at this gym. Now I make $25 an hour. That was a very recent thing. That didn't happen until, January 15th. That's when I got that raise. And this was February 28th. So I only had this raise for about a month. We were on vacation at South Padre Island part of that time, so I didn't work that much. So making $25 an hour at 30 to 35 hours a week really helped a lot. And I want to put in perspective, it's hard to be full-time as a trainer because you have to have lots of clients. So $25 an hour for 25 hours a week is the same as somebody working at $15 an hour for 40 hours a week. I think that's right around $600 or so. It really helped. My income is up. I'm taking extra side jobs for my brother-in-law. I got 2 weddings I got to work this weekend. I got to work those till almost midnight. I get up at 5 in the morning on weekdays to go to the gym to train people. So I'm working really hard. We sold a bike rack, a little bike wagon that Hadassah had. Got $250 for that. Looking for things to sell. I'm still applying for additional jobs because I get a break in the middle of the day every day. We're trying to find Sarah a babysitting job so that we can get even more ahead than what we are now. So we're working really hard. So really one of the biggest things that got us in debt is I should have budgeted, okay? We didn't budget anything. I didn't keep track of anything. I just thought it would magically go away or things were just gonna get better, but things only got worse and worse. And then I realized, hey, I screwed up. I gotta take things serious. I mean, any purchases Sarah does on Amazon or I do on Amazon, we have to go through each other now. We have to ask for permission from each other, even if it's something small like $5. That's just how our lifestyle has to be now. Because I am never going back in debt ever again. Just as I am never going to be overweight ever again. I hated both. But you know what? Financial stress was way more stressful for me because that is providence for my family and for me. I mean, a little overweight, 60 pounds overweight, I'm not going to die anytime soon being 60 pounds overweight, but financial stress it really brings me down. First thing is you need to budget every single dollar. He has a budget financialpeaceuniversity.com. It's called the Every Dollar app by Dave Ramsey. I encourage you to go check it out. Keep track of every single dollar you have. So I read his book, and he has 7 steps. And what I want to get at is the most important thing you can do is budget, sell things, and pick up extra hours at your work or get a second job. That's what I'm currently trying to do right now, is get a 3rd job. But really what helped me more than anything was getting that raise at work. We would still be in debt right now. And I do want to mention one more thing. Because our income was so low, we got $5,000 back from the government. So you're probably wondering, how on earth can you pay $10,000 back in 54 days on a below average income? We paid our credit card off April 23rd. I realized we were $10,000 in debt March 1st. So it's 53 days. So how do you pay $10,000 off? Well, we got kind of lucky somewhat. The government took way too much out of my check, and they realized we were at a low poverty level, so they gave us $5,000 back. So we really only had to pay $5,000 back in 53 days. That's a huge difference. If we didn't get that money back, we'd still be in debt right now. If I didn't get that raise from the gym, we'd still be in debt right now. And again, if you think you don't spend much money, keep track of every single thing you're spending. Ask yourself, do I need this or do I want this? Because there's a big difference. You need to keep track of everything you're spending, because even though we don't go out to eat, we don't see movies, we don't go out and drink, we don't smoke cigarettes, we don't go to theme parks, we don't actually do a lot of fun things, to be honest. We don't spend a lot of extra money on a bunch of extra things. We don't buy, I have maybe 7 or 8 shirts in the whole closet of mine. We just don't own a lot of things. I would consider ourselves somewhat minimalist, semi-minimalism. But you need to keep track of everything you're spending, because you might be surprised what you're spending money on. Now we have that $400 water filter that we used with our Amazon points, and we no longer have to use that extra, we no longer have to spend money at Whole Foods every week, paying $80 a month on that. We canceled Sarah's gym membership. Shows you how good I didn't keep track. I didn't realize Sarah was still being charged for a gym membership at Anytime Fitness, and she hadn't been there 9 months. It just shows you that I did not keep track of my finances at all. I would have canceled that a long time ago, but we were being charged $50 a month for her gym membership that she hadn't been to in a long time because she's busy staying home with the baby. So these are just examples of budgeting. I didn't know we were being charged that every month. Sarah doesn't need a phone, so we canceled her phone bill. We got the filter now. We're ditching the agency that takes 8% of our rent every month when our renter is paying us. These are all examples. This alone right there is saving me $300 a month. So Dave Ramsey has something called the 7 baby steps to get you out of debt. So baby step 1, and I skipped this step because I just wanted to be debt-free ASAP as soon as possible, is save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. You need to have an emergency fund. If you don't have an emergency fund, and life happens, a blow happens, you're going to go right back into debt where you were. Step number 2, he says, you should pay off all your debt except your mortgage in your house using the debt snowball. So let's say you have 3 credit cards you got to pay off, and then you got a car, and then you have student loans. Let's say you have a credit card of $500, $1,000, and another one that's $3,000. You start with the smallest one first. You get the $500 knocked out. Then you get the $1,000 one knocked out. And then after that, you start the $3,000. Next, you tackle the car because you have $15,000 left to pay off on your car. So you get that. And then after that, you attack your student loans. Because let's say you have $30,000 of student loans. So you attack them all in order from order. He says it takes the average person about 18 months to get this paid off when they get really serious and when they get really intense. And they literally live off of almost beans and rice. And they are only spending what they need to spend. They're not buying any extra stuff. They're budgeting. This is somebody that's really intense. You pay it off in 18 months, so a year and a half. We did ours in 53 days. Thank God for that tax return refund. So baby step 3, that's what me and Sarah are on right now. You save up for 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Right now our emergency fund is at only about $700 to $1,000. You use this only in emergencies. This isn't a vacation fund. This isn't a go spend clothes or go spend movies or go out to eat fund. This is an emergency. Something comes up, you lose your job, your alternator in your car goes bad, you have to buy a new car. He recommends 3 to 6 months, so maybe anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000. I'm going to try to get our emergency fund up to $10,000. We're currently working on that. We have just about $1,000 saved. I'm going to stay gazelle intense. After that, baby step 4, I can't wait to get on that. The first 3 baby steps kind of suck. They're not fun. Baby step 4 is investing 15% of your household income in retirement. So he recommends going into mutual funds. What he says about mutual fund is if somebody invests into an Roth IRA, and if you can invest $625 a month, about $7,500 a year in mutual funds, if you can invest from age, I think it was 30 to 70 for 40 years, if you can put $625 away for a month for 40 years, you will come out with $7,500,000. This is what Dave Ramsey says. I trust the guy. He's a multi-millionaire. He has he has at least over $10 million. At least. He's worth that. I would say he's more like 20, 30, 40, 50 million he's probably actually worth. Easily. He's a very wealthy man. He knows what he's doing. I trust him. So according to him, if you invest in something like that, a growth stock mutual fund that outperforms the S&P, you can become very wealthy getting passive income from investing. And this is something I want to do. This is something I want to look into. I want to get an investor. I'm going to read more about Dave Ramsey's advice on investing so that I can become a multimillionaire. Now, is it because I want happiness? Is it because I'm greedy and I love money? No. I want to be free. I want to actually be able to retire by the time I'm 60 years old. I don't want to be working until I'm 80 years old. And I don't want to have any more stress on me and my family. And I want to take some amazing vacations someday. That's all I want to do. I don't care about nice cars or nice clothes, any of that stuff. I just want to take some awesome vacations and be stress-free by not having to worry so much about finances. Step 5 is to save for your children's college fund. You put some money away every month into that. Me and Sarah still got to talk about that. Baby step 6 is to pay off your home early. Because, you know, you're paying a lot of interest on your home every month. And then the last baby step is build wealth and give. Like, Dave always has this famous quote, live like no one else so that later you can really give and live like no one else. Stay intense now so you can have a better future is what he's basically saying. I can't wait to get to baby step 7. I think that's going to take us years. Now I want to mention, I think I'm going to eventually quit being a full-time trainer. It's a hard job. I mean, I love it. I love it to death. I absolutely love being a trainer. I just can't rely on other people for my income. I'm paid based on whether people come in or not. If somebody doesn't come in, I don't get paid. If they cancel 12 hours or more in advance, I don't get paid for the session. And do people cancel? You better believe I get cancellations every single day, and it's a lot of stress. Oh, I got 35 hours this week? All right. 3 people texted me they want to get scheduled. Oh, 5 people just deleted from my schedule. That happens all the time. My goal, long-term goal, is to be a gym teacher so I can have something that's more secure. I don't know if I'll absolutely love being a gym teacher. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. And then what I want to do is create a side business of personal training where I train multiple clients at a time. So instead of paying $50 for a session, for a 1-hour session, you have 10, 15 people in a class paying me $15 for the session. I make $150 an hour like that because I have 15 people paying me and I'm training them all at once. I'm doing group training. So that's my ultimate goal. And then people have cheaper rates because they're only paying $15, so they come in and they see you multiple times a week. Everybody wins. It's cheaper for clients, but it's more for me, and I help more people. So that's my ultimate goal. I would do that in the morning before school and after school, and then I want to be a gym teacher because I just want that security and that secure income that comes in every month. And you know, you get retirement and benefits as all that as a teacher. My dad was a teacher for 30 years. He got his master's plus 30, then he got his master's plus 60. He made about $100,000 as a teacher. He's retired now at 60. Now Dave's going to tell you, if you read his book, To Cut Up Credit Cards, I don't totally agree with that. My parents are both retired at the age of 60. They haven't had credit card debt in about 30 years. and they're getting their points and stuff. But listen to this though, 9 out of 10 people do not pay their credit card off every month, according to Dave Ramsey. So keep that in mind. He says too, they did a study, people that use credit cards end up just buying more. They did a study of people at McDonald's, so people that would swipe their credit card, you get these pain receptors. You don't get pain receptors. When you lose money, you get pain receptors in your brain, and that forces you to not spend as much. And that makes sense, but I'm not going to cut up the credit card because we're going to be responsible now and we're going to budget, and if it's not in the budget, well then we won't use the credit card. But if you're trying to pay off your credit card, I advise to not use that thing at all. We didn't when we were paying it off. We were only using cash for everything, because why add more debt to that and more interest to that? That doesn't make any sense. So don't do that. He recommends cutting up credit card. I don't totally agree with that. My parents hadn't had credit card debt in over 30 years. Then they got many rewards points and all that, and they're retired at 60. So, you know, not everybody loses to the credit card. Yeah, maybe 80-90% lose to it, but we're not going to lose any more to it, because I'm gazelle intense. I'm not going backward. I am never going to debt ever again. I just want to mention one last thing. If it's something, if you want to change your life, you want to get out of debt, you want to lose weight, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to get more fit, you got to get intense. You just got to say, I've had it. You got to pound your fist down and say, I've had it. I'm never living like this. I am tired of living like this. You slam your feet down, you slam something to the ground, you say, I've had it. I'm tired of living like this. It's time to change now, today. You got to get that intense. If you're in debt, that's the kind of intensity you need. If you're trying to lose weight, that's the kind of intensity you need. You got to say, no more. I've had it. I'm never going back, and I'm changing now. Anyway, that's my epic rant of how we got out of debt and how we paid $10,000 off. This isn't a typical video we do, but I think I do want to give more financial advice for the future, because finances has been a real stress for me, and I want to help other people. Being overweight was not fun, and I want to help people with that, and I want to help people become financially free as well, because it is such a good feeling. The day we paid off our debt was such a good feeling, and now I'm ready to finish that emergency fund and then to start building wealth and to no longer have financial stress. We'll see you guys in the next video. Love y'all. Bye-bye.